Everybody, happy Tuesday to you. Tuesday after Christmas. Let me get the side chat enabled here. Hope everybody's having a good start to their week. Let's get to live. There we are. Just getting a side chat on. Good morning, everybody. How are you? What? Are you kidding me? Bullshit. Bullshit. Good morning, Hazel. Good morning to you. How are you? Good to see you this morning. We might talk, have a little bit of movie talk today. Trying to email. You have my contact stuff through Instagram and all that. So. Thank you. Hey Diane, good morning to you. How are you today? Good morning, James. Hi, Michigan lady. How are you today? Just let everybody. Hey, Gertie. I was gonna run this on the other channel, but I got everything set up on this channel. Yeah, terrible, if true. But usually when somebody comes in and drops something like that, it's somebody putting that down. Hey Capricorn, just trying to cap everybody. Going out to lunch with a friend, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna grab a cup of coffee and start to get to it here. Yeah, I can't take a call right now, Brenda. I'm using my phone. Using my phone right now. Good morning, Sunny girl. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Ooh. If that's true, obviously, I would be greatly sorrowed by that. But I prefer to wait for independent confirmation. No, Red, how you doing? It's raining right now. Good morning, Vanilla. Good morning, Vanilla Rain. Good morning. Yeah, thank you, Brenda. I got the stuff to make coleslaw. Oh, that's great. That's good. That should be exciting. Back's about 25% of the way towards the goal line, but that's from 0 before, so doing a little better. Yeah, that's Hazel. I knew it was, and I didn't give it any. I didn't give it any credence. I knew as soon as it came in that was BS. Hey, Nine Tacos, how are ya? Good to see ya. We don't have a break here. I'm going to have to put my jacket on before we get down to business here. Talk what makes a film great. Or any other film topic that you want to talk today. Genre film, how cinematography's changed. We're going to talk about what makes a great director, what makes a great cast. Think about some movies and remove some of the people in the cast. Would it still be the same movie? Would it still be as good? Some of those things I'd like to talk about. Well, I got a break from the rain. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's pouring, it's just a steady, as it does every single day. Seemingly forever. Seemingly forever. I'm gonna go grab a cup of coffee. Oh. Just heating up a bit of coffee this morning. Singing in the rain, yeah. What made it classic? That's the hard thing. That's the thing to figure out. Rain and Rosie, yeah. I'm going to be on do this for a couple hours. We're going to give it a little experiment. And then I'll be on probably around 4 o'clock. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you. Nothing like coffee in the rain. All right, there we go. Oh, coffee's good. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, it is raining. I poked and ate 2.5 kilograms of mashed potatoes. Really? What are you cooking for an institution or what? Don't know. Hey, Smelly, every day a few more percent better. Every day. Every day. Ooh, let me know if you, yeah. You know, it's just getting out of bed is the worst one. Because all my bones have been compressed down and, ooh. Ooh. Yeah, it's not really pouring that much. It just sounds magnified a little bit on top of the tent. Another good movie about rain is Purple Rain. Miss You, Prince. Good morning, Elmer. Nice to see you. It's getting better. It's getting better. Oh, I'm just getting my day started. I actually slept till about 9 o'clock this morning, which is very rare for me. It's been unusual not to go to work. Ooh, I've hardly worked at all at the month of December. Ooh. What's your favorite rain movie? Well, I was going to talk about first what makes what does make a film great? What are some of the aspects of a production that would make it great or stand out from another production? Like think of the classic movies and then think of what made them classic. What aspect of it? Good morning, Rain Dancer. Cinematography, costumes, scenery. Yeah. Let's see who gets the answer first. What the great classic movies, one of the things they have in common. Hey, Bella Rose. Lucky Bean said cinematography, costume, scenery. The stars, the production. That's another thing. Maybe you need a marquee name. But I'm looking for something very specific. Musical score is important. I'm surprised we've gone this far down this list. Acting's important, and we've not identified what the probably the main backbone of a classic is. Good morning, Liz. And there's some good ones on there, like the score. Good morning, Liz. The score is the accompanying music for the production. So much of our hit music came out of Hollywood movies. Hello, Brian. We haven't hit the one thing that really helps to lay down the keel, so to speak. Thank you, Vanilla Rain. The story, yes. The storyline has to be a good one. You think about Gone with the Wind, and it has a whole arc to it of a family that starts out wealthy with barbecues and slaves and servants and big lawn parties, smoking big cigars, very wealthy, and then reach the height of that, and by the end of the arc they've lost everything. So it usually has a character going through either a very heroic struggle or something. Good Will Hunting. You have to have a great story. I know. What was one? 2001 Space Odyssey, right? You had a story of machines and computers, even back then, starting to take over and being able to think for themselves. Movie, yes, they love the choreography. I mean, if you've ever seen a Busby Berkeley movie from the 1940s, 1930s, and 40s, the big dancing productions and all that. That's where you'll have the overhead shots of 10 people twirling umbrellas and all that, the fog. But you got to have a good story, right? You think of horror movies in Michael Myers, a guy who cannot be stopped, and every time that you think he's met his match, he just rolls on. Christine, the movie. Ooh. So to me, I think the story, you got to have a great story. Thank you, Manu. That, I think, is the main thing. If we look at Citizen Kane, it has that same arc. If any of you saw that with the Mercury players. Yeah, Lawrence of Arabia. If you saw the Mercury players in that production of Citizen Kane, Joseph Cotton, Agnes Moorehead, Orson Welles in that movie. Good morning, Health. They had a great storyline, another arc where a guy builds up from nothing as a foster child, basically, or pawned off to the old aunt. Builds up a publishing empire, and then gets caught in an election cheating on his wife, and it's all downhill from there. Got the whole arc, and by the end, it was almost mandatory in movies of that era that things have a moral ending, especially when the Hayes Act came in like 1933 or something like that. And then you were encouraged to have movie endings that were fairy tale ones for happy endings. The way you portray things. What made Ferris Bueller's Day Off a classic movie? And a lot of people, I think, would argue that could be a classic movie. I think it's got a great storyline of a kid who just takes off and blows off the world and is so confident in his own ability to be a survivor and end up, no matter what happens, on his feet. Superman. Well, I don't know. When I think of classic movies, you know, science fiction movies never really win awards. I mean, Frankenstein and Dracula, none of those Universal Pictures ever won any awards. Horror films, almost never. Almost never did. Smokey and the Bandit, that had a fun story. That had a good storyline. Blues Brothers. I also think that a lot of classic movies have memorable scores. Yeah, The Piano was an outstanding. The Piano, what struck me about that was the cinematography and some of the shots that had, you know, playing the piano on the beach with after the storm when they got it off the boat. Hey Violet, how are you? How are you? Coffee looks good. Just bought there. Thank you, Sunny Girl. We just watched Wizard of Oz. Noticed things we never caught as kids. And marathoning it, so we watched parts a couple times. Yeah, I think the people don't know that there were several movies. The Wizard of Oz. That was not the original one in 1931. 1939, there was also a silent movie version. It's a pretty weird looking movie if you go see it. He had The Longest Day, great story. Thank you, everyone not. Make subscribes. Makes and pays in making. This person doesn't even make sense. A bridge too far. Alright, thank you. And did you know, hey, that you can save 15% on your car insurance with Geico? Man, speak English so people can understand. Where Eagles there, a bridge. How about Bridge Over the River Kwai? Hey, Vern, A Star is Born. How about the original Star is Born with Frederick March? I don't know, Disney's everything. Work apart. Miss California so much. Miss California so much. It's another way. Here we go. Bye. Okay, Sonny. Alright. Cleopatra. Yeah, it's funny, like the Ten Commandments, when Cecil B. DeMille did that movie. That was actually the second Cleopatra. The first one was another one. It was a silent in the 1920s. And those movie sets from that film are still out there in the Imperial Valley. Oh. Yeah, thank you, Vern. I appreciate it. Richard Burton and Liz Taylor, yeah. Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? Those two great actors for that. Psycho's a film that changed everything, huh? And kept you guessing. Yeah, that's a good point, Jeffrey, and good morning to you. Yeah, the crime happens early and then it all unfolds. Yeah, it's getting there, Jerry. Thank you. Hitchcock was also good at not actually showing you the scene, but filling it in your own mind. Filling it in your own mind. Yeah, Ben-Hur. There were several remakes of Ben-Hur. Most of them were done by King Vidor or Cecil B. DeMille. Yes, thank you, Health. I did. Thank you. Yeah, well, Hitchcock had several themes. One main theme that ran through all of his movies, that he always liked to use a blonde star, which I thought was very interesting, and he always had very long takes in his movies. You think about Tippi Hedren and just all on down the line. Yeah, the shower cuts were genius. Yeah, Jason and the Argonauts. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, thank you, Nocturnal. I'm going to freshen my coffee a little bit here. And so I think, to me, having a good story is an important thing. And when you think about the classic movies that you like, would they be the same if they were just a production of just people milling about without good lines, without anything to say, or does the story kind of hold it all together? Like Casablanca. Ooh. Oh, nice. Nice, Bimbo. Very nice. You think of Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, that famous scene down on the floor of the Senate chamber. Tom and Jerry. Acting and directors put a scene heavily throughout the cast, and directors had a lot of power back then. But directors were very much in the firing line, because so much was paid out to get stars in these movies that they tried to cut budget where they could, and they always put a lot of pressure on directors, especially in the 1920s when they had contract players, 20s and 30s. They would work the hell out of them to get all they could out of them. Streetcar Named Desire was great. Rebel Without a Cause. Good morning, Sarita. How are you today? Blossoms in the Dust. Okay, sounds good. Blossoms in the Dust. There's also, I would suggest you guys watch the free movie on directed by King Vidor called Our Daily Bread. That's another interesting. That was a interesting Dust Bowl when they were trying to push the idea of communism in the late 1920s. Sanding Chippendale chairs. They're beautiful, aren't they? Chippendale. What's up, Vicky? Ooh, On the Waterfront is great. Great story. I have wood dust in my brain. Wood dust in my brain. Ooh, I think a musical score is also critical for a movie to be memorable. Would Breakfast at Tiffany's be the same movie without Moon River. Would Gone with the Wind be the same without its musical score? It's hard to imagine. But how much it all has an impact on. Because I think if it was easy to, if there was just a formula for creating classics, Hollywood would be on it. But the funny thing is, the only thing they're showing that they have skill is taking existing products and things like superheroes and then just keep extending it. So they're afraid to try something new. And then something like West Side Story, that's already bombed, hasn't it? A remake of West Side Story, that already bombed. Already bombed. I wears grapes at 10 times when I was doing an authentic glimpse into tough time. Yeah, The Grapes of Wrath Nocturnal is a great movie. John Carradine Jr. in it as the guy that rode along with him and got in trouble. Had some great actors in that. Henry Fonda. And a doctor's office does not test for COVID. Yeah, they're using just testing facilities. I thought Batteries Not Included was a pretty cool story with Hugh Crone and Jessica Tandy. I'm feeling a little bit better, Vicky. Yeah, On Golden Pond I thought was too mashed together to just reunite the Fondas, right? Oh, you old poo. Saw Spider-Man from. It's getting better little by little, Sarita. You know, the less times that I trigger a spasm and things, the better. So Driving Miss Daisy was excellent because there were a lot of stories in that movie. There was the story of servitude class. There was a story of anti-Semitism. There were a lot of things in that story. That was a tremendous movie, and that really helped put what's his name on the map? Freeman. Put him on the map. That was a great movie. It's also beautifully filmed. 12 years later, one of Morgan Freeman's early films. That really helped put him on the map, along with Shawshank Redemption. For the first time in my life, I walked out on parole. Where I was going, what I was going to do, I hadn't any idea at all. It's a great movie. Another great storyline, though. Shawshank Redemption wouldn't be the classic it is without that. Without a great story. Certainly believe that. Yeah, when they don't add a cheesy love story as the be-all and end-all of happiness, yeah. And that was a big turning point in movies in the 1960s when people started rebelling with Vietnam, empowered people with protest, and people that made movies started feeling like they've been sticking to the Hays Code and it's restricting their freedom of speech. And shit got pretty wild with Clockwork Orange, and the pendulum immediately started swinging back the other way. And cheesy endings became after Love Story, and cheesy endings became not very welcome. audience would kind of laugh at it. That's why things like Days of Wine and Roses, a realistic look at alcoholism. Right, Come Back, Come Home, Little Sheba, another look at alcoholism. Wuthering Heights on YouTube last night. Nice. Another one I'd recommend that you watch if you like Citizen Kane is The Magnificent Ambersons. You want to see brilliant acting on the part of Agnes Moorehead. You'll find no finer actress than her. The shot where Phoenix and the car rolls forward comes up as one. Yeah, it is nocturnal. It's small flourishes that help build the reputation of great cinematographers, because they know how to compose a shot and tell something without, just coming right out and tell it. I like those devices. I like movies that tell a story, and I like movies that are shot beautifully. Valley of the Dolls, Sharon Tate is a treat, one of a kind, so sad. Yeah, that whole era was just kind of weird. Just kind of weird. I think that whole era of permissiveness led to the early first initial real explosion to the drug culture in LA and San Francisco down there. Whoa, 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 whoa. Lido, do, 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 do. Lido, do, do, do. I was watching, we went to see the Universal picture, the making of, here in town on little before Halloween. Bird bought tickets to a special feature. And it was the making, the life of Boris Karloff, who played the great characters in, like, monster movies. And then they showed the 1932 Frankenstein movie, and it was really wild. The 1933, I should say, and it was really wild how they only usually just did one shot. It was always seemed to be a wide-angle shot. They never varied the focal length to close-ups, and it was amazing. So they just shot these films super cheap, and they put the money into crazy-ass sets. Yeah, Orson Welles is amazing. We watched Citizen Hitchcock Appreciation. Yes. Harold and Maude. Hey, Magda. But you see what cinematography does for a movie. Somebody mentioned earlier, Lawrence of Arabia. Some of those classic super wide VistaVision, Panavision shots of that camel way off in the distance, walking towards and never seeming to move at all. Do, 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 do. Yeah, I like sitting in cinematography. I like to sit into film class in college. I was lucky enough. After late afternoon when they met, my day was pretty much over, so I just sit in on the film they were showing that day. That was pretty cool. But I think that you need a great story, number one. I think that you need a great director to tell that story, a great producer to back the vision, some stars for maybe Marquee Valley. So green there, I'm jealous of your yard. Yeah, but that's a pain in the butt, though. Hey, Jasmine, because I used to be able to, with not cutting my grass from, November 1st to March 30th. What do you think about something like Gone with the Wind? Yeah, I think it's a shame, Magda, because we lose our teaching points too. If we remove films like that from the genre, then we don't really have a marker of how we've proceeded. That's what worries me about pulling down statuary and things, is we lose our teaching moments to tell people what that's about and what that stood for and how it turned out. 77 here in Tampa. I don't hear from any new. Yeah. Well, you know what's going to happen, Booty, and what they're working on? The ultimate dream for the movie studios is to reduce the cost of the most expensive aspect of a lot of films these days, and that's the talent that they're paying. So don't be surprised, and I know they're working towards it, CGI created characters that are so realistic and so well done on the screen that they will create their own following and be praised as stars. And you'll have started to solve a big problem, the cost of production and doing Hollywood movies. And I think they're gonna start slipping these in here and there to see how they work within the context of the movie. Yeah, of course they should be discussed. It becomes great talking points, that stuff, to be able to discuss things like that. I think that's critical. That's what I mean about statuary, that we can look at something and say, boom. Yeah, everyone has to grimace when it's just the way that they did business back then. But I think the musical score certainly enhanced Breakfast at Tiffany's and the very handsome looks of George Peppard. Yeah, so they're going to create characters that you're going to start following, and they'll live lives, and they won't cost the studio any more than some animation geeks to sit there and do things. Because that technology, that pixel technology, is getting so good that soon we're just going to have fake movie stars. It's like the way of trying to replace cork and wine with plastic. You can tell people it's better, blah, 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 but yeah, I enjoyed Monsters Incorporated. I enjoyed Monsters Incorporated. Was that a talk for okay? Westerns gave us moral compass. They did. Hollywood had to sort of stick to that line or people would be upset. Then realism loaded in. And yeah, because people rebelled against that bullshit world of Ozzie and Harriet and Leave It to Beaver and the Donna Reed show. People daily got slapped with that vision of life, and it's like, we can't even relate. Yeah, they've applied it to Robert De Niro, used a young CGI. Yeah, isn't that amazing? Yeah, the hand-drawn animation. I think that was the skill. I wonder how many people will do calligraphy in the coming years. But I definitely think that Hollywood definitely wants to move into that trend of just created movies. Just like now people do music like White Sand. I use a lot of his music in my cinematic features. His whole orchestra is his soundboard. And the guy creates genius level music electronically. And you're going to have people just shoot movies within a computer. Oh, Werner Herzog, yeah. Yeah, Bird Dude. Werner Herzog is my hero. You know why? Because people always got mad at me because I would put my camera right out in the middle of the action. You guys know whether a house is burning down or a building, or we're out there and police are all over the place. There's guys running around. And people were like, oh, or people were down on the ground, and people were like, oh, Rosie, you shouldn't ought to show that on, right? But you know, people watch that. They want to see what happens, how things are dealt with. And the great Werner Herzog, when people told him, damn, Werner, you got real balls. You'll do anything to get the shot, right? You'll accidentally open any door, shoot down any alley, right? Interview any person. And he said something that stuck with me ever since. He said, make sure you get the shot and then worry about apologizing. It's brilliance. Brilliance. I do not watch the Oscars, Magda. If Daniel Day-Lewis is not up for anything, then right. To me, Daniel Day-Lewis is tremendous. Oh, I enjoyed John Hughes from of all the Animal House and all the National Lampoon. Scorsese's an outstanding director. He just tells great stories. It's almost like they're, you know, when Scorsese does an Italian or the Sopranos do their thing, all you need is the story. Because you could find zillions of people that are like that in real life that act like that. 67. To me, the best decade for films was the 1930s to me. Wrath of God by Fab and Enigma Castle. Is Lewis and Gucci? I have no idea, but I'm just saying, right? That trend is coming. So I think King Vidor is pretty cool for being a communist. I think, of course, Cecil B. DeMille for demanding huge scale productions, and he was really one of the only directors of Hollywood, Paramount Pictures, that pretty much had free reign to overrun budgets and stuff because they knew it would come out good in the end. Yeah, somebody said that movie's not too good. Horrible film. If you like camp, you know, I like well done, you know, real life, non-fiction stories, true life things. I always think that they make great content. Yeah, I think Lady Gaga is a good performer. George Cukor films. Lino, the Hollywood of the 1930s, that's why I tell people the Cecil Hotel that I go visit, it's modeled after the hotel in the movie Barton Fink, which I highly recommend that you watch Barton Fink. You'll get a look at inside life at the Cecil Hotel. But that whole movie shows you how hard it is to get in as a writer into Hollywood. Guys are living in flop houses trying to grind out shit for like $1 a page or something. Yeah, I saw Birth of a Nation. Yep. Yep. I've not seen found larger in the great vistas in music. That's right, Sky Painter. And then the composer for the music for Lawrence of Arabia made sure to compose a score that would match that scene. Yeah, watch. Yeah, isn't that A Wonderful Life? It's a great film, The Wonderful Life. Right? To me, it's the ultimate moralizing movie that tells people that you touch more lives than you think you do. And let's take you out of the equation and see how life would be different in this town of Bedford Falls, and it becomes Potterville. Yeah, Barton Fink is awesome. It's a cerebral, it's a Coen Brothers movie. You're gonna have to think a little bit, but it's a damn cool movie, and it just shows you that world of the late 20s and early 30s before the Hays Code came in. Yeah, Dueling Bands. I just want to say some of the classic movies will always have great songs. Think of Days of Wine and Roses with Lee Remick and Jack Lemmon. Patrick Blue was good. Ooh, of Wine and Roses. What's up, Tara Boo? Loo doo 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 doo. Do 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 do. Technicolor. Well, what I liked about the 1930s is the 1930s went on. You know, we had that rah-rah era during the Great Depression, and everybody had to be rallied to the NRA, and they would have the big Busby Berkeley Productions touting the National Recovery Administration, and Jimmy Durante would come on and sell it at the movie theater with the trailer. So they were pretty much on lockdown in the 1930s as to what they could do in terms of the stories they could tell. So I think they turned a lot of their creative energy loose on the technical side of filming movies by starting to change the camera around and move location and not use every long shot as the shot in the movie, but to start to vary the focal length on some of these movies. Because when you look at the Frankenstein from 1932, 33 Universal, the camera angle's always just fixed. There's no movement of the camera. There's nothing. It's just simple, quick, down and dirty shots. Hail Caesar. Which leaves the audience sort of stimulating your imagination, yeah. A classic movie will also make you wish that there was a sequel to it, right? And then voila, there will be. But there's a reason that the studios fought over Margaret Mitchell's books when the rights were put up for movie interpretation. And the studios passed around money and directors and all kinds of crap. Yeah, we saw it. We saw remastered versions of that, Magda. It's pretty amazing. That's a great collection to have. That's a super collection to have. Rambo. Hey Julio, how are you? I liked the Lady Killers. I like the original version with Alec Guinness, and I like the one with Tom Hanks in it. Yeah, that's what they did, Linda. That's what I was saying. By the time they got through the 30s, they'd already adopted shooting from low angles. Citizen Kane was the first movie that really had moving shots. Remember that famous scene when the character that played Marion Davies, who was Hearst's girlfriend, she was the one that was the opera singer, and that whole crane shot just goes up from down low all the way up to the guys up on top of the rafters holding their nose because she stinks. Right? She's just not. She wasn't terrible, but she wasn't great. And of course, the ego is so big that that's going to get crushed at the end when everything goes to shit during the Depression. It's a great moment in film. That's a great moment in film. Casablanca. Casablanca used a lot of darkening techniques for trying to keep a scene lit enough to film it at night, but a lot of scenes were out in the nighttime there. Nope, that's postal truck moving around this morning. Getting ready to freshen up my coffee again. So I think that the storyline for me, when I thought about what makes a classic movie, is it's got to have a great story. Think of Shawshank Redemption, great story. Gone with the Wind, great story. Right? All of these great stories have somebody or something fighting adversity, fighting from their bottom to the top, and then in the worst cases falling back down again at the end and pissing it all away. Anything with bogey and recall. No, I don't collect any movies at all. Nope. No. I just will search it on YouTube first. Comeback Trail. Love Story. I don't know what it was about Love Story. Again, I think Mancini wrote that one too. I think the music just trumped it, right? 'Cause I don't know, when's the last time you saw Ally McGraw? It's a lot of cool stuff about The Wizard of Oz. But a very good, interesting story and a real metaphor for life on the Dust Bowl. But you gotta have that music, right? Halloween or The Revenge of Michael Myers and stuff without that do-do-do-do-do-do, right? Yeah, it was, having grown up in that era that came out, people just went crazy for that. Yeah, like Terms of Endearment, that was another one with great music. Ordinary People, Steel Magnolias. All these have in common is their studies of people. Yeah, from aluminum based silvering. Yep. Russian Rambo. I don't know. I'll tell you, Buddy Ebsen had a weird ass career, man. But he always managed to land where the money was. Right. Sisterhood. Oh. So I think that the storyline is what makes a great classic. So that's why comedies can never really win, because their stories are based on the misfortune of others, is where most of the humor is found. That's gone all the way back to Laurel and Hardy and Three Stooges. That's it. It would come on once a year. Hi Amelia, how are you? Battleship Potemkin is good. I watch a lot of Chinese era propaganda movies because I understand Chinese. Hey Tiny Fairy, how are you? Welcome to a little movie discussion. I'm going to go about another hour. I'm going to freshen up my coffee here. I like Australian films. Simply Ballroom is simply amazing. I like Muriel's Wedding was fantastic. Just two amazing flicks. The Aussies do it up. After Psycho, I was terrified to get in the tub. That's the way people felt when Jaws. Like nobody wanted to go in the water anymore because you couldn't see what the hell was down. What the hell was under there, and that's a little dicey. We're such an awesome stories trans, the last picture show, yeah. The movies back in the black on. Yeah, you know what, Violet? Speaking of black movie production, there are more and more films because there were studios that specifically catered to the black audience, and a lot of them were. Lena Horne was in them, and other ones even from the 1930s. And I think some of those are being pulled out of the vaults these days and looked at, because there's some very fine ones, and the singing is out of sight. Yeah, Egypt and India have been making films forever. And almost every it's why there's also so much war footage and stuff in movies, because there's so much footage that the Army and Air Force and Navy they carry their own photography and recording film units. Classic movies are great. I think some of the Japanese films, especially some of the animated ones, are so super well constructed. They're made with such a high degree of craft. Mm. Yeah, so I think that they should definitely be celebrated. What, Tarnation? I think they should definitely be celebrated. Are we getting stream sniped? Well, you never know. Ooh. So a lot of things are getting rebalanced in life. People are discovering areas of Hollywood that were long since forgotten and were deemed to be not important. Yeah, Korean films, but when you don't need subtitles. Yeah, that was it. Carmen Jones was that was a hell of a movie. Remake of West Side. I liked it, but I got Chris for not doing subtitles. You know, dude, I heard that movie crashed and burned. It's slowly by slowly, Tiny Fairy. I can't go to work this week. I can't really clean or do anything, so I might as well just screw around for a bit before I do the big live this afternoon. We're gonna have to go shopping tonight. I think that's 7 o'clock, but I love some Japanese. Cinema's great too. They use far less dialogue than we use in this country. You can have shots in Korean and Asian Chinese movies where people will literally just stare and look at each other for 20 or more seconds and count out 20 sometimes with nobody saying a word. Yeah, The Fountainhead. Was that with Patricia Neal? That was about Ayn Rand. Totally renewed open dream never occurred. 74 bucks, but it's a 5-disc box set. Ooh, Sound of Mucus, huh? Go back and see what Christopher Plummer thought about being in that movie. I lost my info. Yeah, I'm taking bird shopping tonight. 2 coins. I think she's kind of my vibe. I like the libertarian thing. I like the, that philosophy doesn't have a really, that's where the morality comes in. I think you have to overlay that on your own. The world is not meant to be charitable. If the Birdcage was a comedy, it was pretty daring. Right. How you doing, Joni? Yeah, the book was good. It's too hard of a movie to put over to, Hollywood fumbles with something that's a little hard to get its head around. Amelie is my favorite. That was cute. Amelie, that was cute. La Cage aux Folles is better. You like Goldie Hawn movies? Well, it's proven that people like to laugh in the theater. But laughter's never really been considered artistic enough for Oscars. So you get the one-off weird one, like the Music Box 1932 by the Laurel and Hardy, the first short subject Oscar ever given out. Uses the electric wheelchair. I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do something, Rain Dancer. We'll be alright. As long as I'm not out too long, I think it'll be good. I'm gonna probably go live about 3 or 4. Tu Wong Fo. Brokeback Mountain. Anybody remember China Syndrome? Right, with Jack Lemmon. What an excellent performance he gave in that. Yeah, comedies today are just college, yes. And most comedians are not able to just get out of the gutter and be funny just for the sake of funny without cursing. Sometimes Jack both won Oscars for As Good as It Gets. I don't know, Magda. It must have been a light year, right? So, Helen Hunt, I don't know. Dr. Zhivago, that was a big movie to make. That was in Julie Christie really hung like an ornament on that movie. Thank you, Rain Dancer. You know who tried to make a classic was um, Warren Beatty. Warren Beatty and what the hell was the girl's name that played Annie Hall? And they made that Reds. They tried to make a classic with that, but it became too difficult for people to follow. Still a beautifully shot movie, especially the night scenes in St. Petersburg. They're pretty amazing. Diane Keaton, yes. Now they tried real hard, but it got all bogged down with Emma Goldman and Goldberg. I mean, it just got all tied. It just got kind of just heavy. The story starts bogging down. Jack Nicholson and Cuckoo Nest. That was a brilliant movie. It was a great story about a guy who shouldn't have been incarcerated in an institution like that. Well, the thing that's ruined people is their eye for beauty. It's like you look at movies today, everything has to be a 1 second jump shot between shots. And I rebel against that with my videography because I'll do very long takes. I'll walk around and encircle people and get video and do so you can study things and understand things. Yeah, I'm fine, Bird Dude. I just stay at the 10 milligram. Wicked Witch of the West. Certainly put Margaret Hamilton on the map. Did not get it right. I disagree with, for example, I definitely agree with Parasite. Yeah, I don't think Nomadland was just a tip to the culture in the pandemic. I don't think it was any... I think that was a... Boy, wouldn't we like to all just take this and shove at the world. Oof. My all-time favorite movie remains Gone with the Wind because it brought the greatest costume designers, it brought the greatest storyteller, it brought the greatest series of directors. It took multiple directors to shoot that movie. The casting was superb on it. There was enough box office and enough curiosity of who would play Scarlett and who is this woman from the UK that dares to call herself a Southern gal. And it just, everything worked. Everything worked. Controversy. Right? The night of the Oscars, people don't know because it's very little and not very often told, but on the night of the Oscars for 1939, Gone with the Wind was sweeping everything. Hattie McDaniel, who won an Oscar, was not allowed to be at the ceremony. So much to his credit, you know what Clark Gable did? He skipped the ceremony and he went and hung out at her house, which I thought was pretty cool during the ceremony. No, I've never done any professional acting. Yeah, this Nomadland will not become a classic. Yeah, Gone with the Wind's epic. Look at some of the shots. The first time they used cranes to pull back great distances. That classic shot at the railroad yard where Scarlett's coming into Atlanta to look for her Ashley. And it starts on a very tight scene of 3 or 4 wounded people with her on the ground, and that shot just keeps pulling back, and you see hundreds and then thousands and then tens of thousands of wounded people. I mean, this was all new, this movement of cameras and starting to get cameras in motion instead of everything in the 30s was just stable set shots. You dared not move the camera too much because the speed was so poor on that film. You had to almost torch the set to get enough light. Right? Shawshank Redemption was an excellent story. It follows the arc of guy who did nothing wrong in bad situation, makes best of it and succeeds. Meanwhile, bad guy hits his high point and goes down in flames, thus completing the perfect arc. You got two birds with one stone, which people loved. The good guy got rewarded and the bad guy got punished. It's what we call the twofer. The twofer. Make the good guy win and make the bad guy lose. Tried and true. Simple storyline. Put people against struggles. Right? Whether it be Flashdance and the girl wants to be a professional ballet dancer. Struggle. Anthony Bourdain wants to be the best cook. Struggle. Yeah, Susie said, I never really appreciate the full impact of all the art that goes into films, yet I love it. But see, I think that films are losing their art. They're becoming CGI generated, and they're shifting people's vision of what beauty is. It's the same issue I have when you digitally enhance photographs of life, oftentimes nature, and then you're looking at that photograph and you're saying that is unbelievable. I really want to check that out one day, and you go up there and it's like doesn't really bear any relationship to what you saw. And what do you think to yourself? Nature kind of sucks. Or it must have been a kind of a weird Sunday or something this guy got this shot. So we're moving that whole thing of what is beauty. Yes, they're real now. Well, Citizen Kane is still held up as a great movie. It has the classic tale of a kid growing up with a foster grandma or whatever, struggling, making it big, and pissing it all away. Yeah, we're not going to need people anymore due to CGI. And everything will just be done on the computer. There will be all sound will be computer generated. No problem with synchronization. No problem with reshoots. I have a crush on Kid Rock only as far as I can go on one of his. I'd love to be on one of his Budweiser cruises. Love that. She opened the door of the first cinema movie show. Yeah. They had something called, they had sepia tone. They had, in the very earliest days of trying to put color, they used red and green overlays. If you look at some of the early, like Dance of the Red Death or something that was shot during the talkie era, they put some color on some of these films. It's very awkward. You only get two colors really, but it's an early go of it. With the Technicolor, they had finally evolved the process enough to put it into a large-scale production. Hey Jen. Hey Jen. How are you today? Yeah, I'm waiting for, I'm going to ask Jen, one of my moderators, to verify that story. Because I do not believe it. Was it the first color film? There were two. Yeah, there were other Technicolor films, but this was a very good one in terms of the quality. So it was In the Heat of the Night, and both won Best Picture. Spirit was sad because of color and shots. Yep. But to become a classic, I think you have to have a hell of a good story. And sometimes classic stories can get messed up and they can just turn out shitty. Some of the Julius Caesar, some people are just too complicated to do a 90-minute film. Yeah, so much glamour, Judy, and just so much storytelling. What story is it? Which story you mean, Magda? In the Heat of the Night, I think Sidney Poitier and I think Rod Serling, were not Rod Serling, but Yeah, I don't know. What do you think of the TV series? Most for entertainment. Oh, about that, Dave. I don't go by anything that I hear in here. Blind girl. What was one? That was called A Patch of Blue. Right, and then guess who's coming to dinner? So I think you need to have good actors too. If you change any one of the actors and Gone with the Wind, it just becomes a much more problematic movie. Because in real life, the real Vivien Leigh was kind of a diva. She was very frail and never enjoyed good health, but she was married to Laurence Olivier. And she was quite accomplished because of her training on the London stage. Right? Perfect. You think of who played Ashley Wilkes? I can't remember who the actor was that played Ashley Wilkes. But he's kind of a laid-back guy. Kind of a laid-back thing. Gone with the Wind. And then you look at Melanie, who was played by Olivia de Havilland. She's a perfect mousy kind of looking actress. Yeah, Leslie Howard. Thank you. Leslie Howard. Thank you, Jordan. And of course, Clark Gable. If you remove any of them, it's not the same. Yeah, she was good in A Streetcar Named Desire. So was I can't skip my name right now. Yeah, To Kill a Mockingbird with Gregory Peck. Yeah, Gone with the Wind's a great story. It's a rise and fall of the South. Yeah, Marlon Brando was great. Vincent Price was up for the part of Ashley. I'll tell you, Days with Jordan Line, good to see you, my friend. I could not imagine Vincent Price is not subtle enough for that role. Yeah, Jen, I don't give it any credence. So it's like it never happened in my after chat. Spencer Tracy was magnificent. Whether it was A Bad Day at Black Rock, opposite of Ernest Borgnine, when he flipped him in that restaurant. Rod Steiger was great. He was also great in The Pawn Shop. There was a movie called The Pawn Shop set like in New York City in 1961 or something. That was a weird movie. Pawnbroker. So when I'm off, I'll get everything verified, and then if it turns out to be it's true, of course I'll give a verbal tribute. Brokeback Mountain, a modern classic. Some Like It Hot is great. Yeah, as a comedy, I'm gonna I am going to get a cup of coffee here. Thank goodness somebody invented coffee. Right? Oh. 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 Betty Davis. All About Eve. Yeah, is that the one that stars Ann Baxter too? Is it the one? I'm fine, Gigi. Are you okay? Let's see. No. If it's true, it's tragic. We never know, right? So, rest in peace. All right, let's get back here. Oh, thank you, Amelia. Let's see here. I'm enjoying the wonderful Dunkin' Donuts here. The very wonderful Dunkin' Donuts. Oh, that tastes good. Nice and warming. I'm doing a little better, Jody. How you doing today? How are you doing? Ooh. How you doing today? Watching old movies, a lot of were breathtaking back in the day. Yeah, It's a Mad World was great because they attempted to put every living comedian into that movie around Ethel Merman, and that was a great decision. Yeah, Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, Can't Beat the Dances. They all have something in common. I think classic movies that stand the test of time. There's something about them that is so over the top in terms of standout. As you said, like the dancing in Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, or some of Hitchcock's great. They're just great stories. Or some have it all. Some have it all. Yeah, the dozen meant 50. Dozen meant 50. See, that's kind of nut job. I'm doing better, Vilac. A little bit back every day. Barbara says, why wouldn't they do a remake of It's a Mad World? It's multiple generations behind what's in fashion right now, and Hollywood is scared to make anything outside the genre of superheroes or brand extensions. Their creativity is dying, and they're going into a computer-generated world, and it's going to be a different kind of world. So when you talk about making It's a Mad World, you're going to have to get together 15 of the greatest comedians existing today, and you're going to have to pay a fortune for that lineup of talent, right? D&D is Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkin' Donuts. The man was horrible. Called the Rat Race. Okay, well that's just it's hard to make things comedic twice in a row. It was a good movie. But that had a lot of talent. And the line, need a bigger boat. Yeah. Jaws had to have a good cast. And it had to have writers that were clever enough to minimize the use of the actual. You never really saw the shark do its thing. You would just see some blood in the water or something. You'd see a hand go down. Hey, Robert Mack. Yeah, well, I'm not believing that's right, Jen. I'm not putting anything out there because I don't see any other videos of reputable people being put out about it. So, that being the case, it doesn't even get a mention on my channel, and people rewatch like it never even happened on here. Sci-Fi Pros. Whoopi Goldberg, Rowan Atkinson. Yeah, Rear Window is good. Showed the bad side of Raymond Burr, right? Well, Sarita, we can be patient enough to wait. It's not going to dominate the conversation here because we don't see anything else being put out by RV people that I subscribe to. And some of them would jump on that like it was hot buttered popcorn, so you better believe it. Love Jaws. Torn Curtain. I think the most underrated is Shadow of a Doubt, that was filmed right here in Santa Rosa. With the Mercury, Teresa Wright, Joseph Cotton. Tremendous story. Yeah, Violet, I don't give it any credence. They have somebody that they know just make up some, do a video, and because obviously people aren't watching that in great numbers, so I don't fall for that nonsense. If it's in fact true, there's plenty of time to verify it without giving it any attention. I think Hitchcock's North by Northwest was pretty thrilling. I liked it. I thought Cary Grant was great in that movie. Okay, Sarita, we're just going to drop it now. All right, I'm going to get my coat on. I just had my noon gummy. Woo! Yeah, I think more people are cutting the ties. Oh, it's great. He was a perfection, so tough to work with. Problem with Hitchcock was always drinking a lot when he was directing. I thought he held his own. Yeah, please, Patty White, if you like Tom Hanks, check him out in The Lady Killers. It's really funny. The thing about 4K and things is they're not cinematic. Cinematic movies don't. Their final rendering of the final product is never high definition. IMAX is one thing, but in real life, unless you're shooting 24 frames per second, then you're just not achieving the cinematic standard. That's what the human eye best processes, 24 feet per second. Frames per second, I mean 24 frames per second. And when you shoot in too high definition, it doesn't look cinematic. It looks too sharp. Well, he always liked to have his blondes around. Kim Novak, Doris Day, Tippi Hedren, right, Curtis. Passed away. Acting and directing, and acting and actors, directors, the relationship between them and producers has always been a position of subservience for people that want to get into the industry. And it's too easy to demand favors. Too easy. Hello, Zombie Mutt Dog. 39 Steps, a real oldie that has everything. Was that shot in the US or the UK? Yeah, if they look a little too good, it loses its cinematic aspect. One shot of a dad that enjoyed a lot. Also great that you showed the home. Yeah, at home is beautiful, Judy, and the train station needs a rework down here. It probably looks the same as before, you know. Yay, you got your new water heater installed. Excellent day. Excellent. Japanese Attack of the Mushroom People. I think they were very creative. I think when it came to science fiction movies, we really don't have any classics. We have 2001 Space Odyssey. Obviously the music, the storyline was pretty good, if rather complicated for some people to understand and to make sense of. It became a classic due to, I think, its theme of over programming a computer and having it adopt some type of knowledge and thinking and cognitive abilities itself. Yeah, he drank a lot. Oh, okay, Zombie. He drank a lot. He was a big drinker and he mucked around. But I don't think you'll ever see a comedy win a Oscar. You could say As Good as It Gets has comedic moments. You could say, you know, some of the other Bringing Up Baby and Day the Earth to Get You. Yeah, so I was saying, Susie, because you didn't have the technical ability then to do a lot. That's why I like to do Space Girl from Planet XXX, because it's just a throwback to the lousy era of just make the sci-fi chicks with just large-breasted women in tight outfits, or almost non-existent outfits, and nobody would care about the paper plates covered with aluminum foil that were used as flying saucers. Greer Garson, yeah, she was good. And what's going on to wait for? I may need a recycling. Janet Leigh, Grace Kelly, Nippy. How about Ann Baxter? Was she in that? I'm not sure if it won an Oscar or not. Zombie. Do 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 do. I don't know. It happened one night. Yeah, Space Girl, yeah, and Ed Wood. That's what I'm saying, perfect for an Ed Wood production. Because that was all about low budget stuff. Jane Mansfield. I always thought that Agnes Moorehead and Shirley Booth should have gotten much more recognition. Brian's song about Brian Piccolo, a bit of Andy Warhol. Yeah, I think Cleopatra with I think it was Ann Baxter or Claudette Colbert later. Okay, take care, Sarita. 5 Oscar nominations, but did not win any. Yeah. I just think it's really difficult for comedies to win for Best Picture. Cancel culture. Oh, yes. Definitely cancel culture. Yep. Definitely. Remember, Hollywood doesn't really have any guts. It only lives at the behest of what it thinks that the political winds are blowing. And canceling stuff left and right and moving backwards at the speed of light. And they're going to become even more scared to produce something new and novel and creative. They're just going to keep running with the Batman, the superheroes theme. They're not going to pour money into something unless they're absolutely sure that they're going to get returned. I like Dudley Moore in 10. I liked Julie Andrews better in 10 than I liked her in whatever the hell it was, The Sound of Mucus. The Apartment won Best Picture. The Sunshine, but didn't. Good as it gets. Yeah, Dudley Moore was very skilled as a musician too. And he was very cute and very cuddly. So sad a lot of Disney classics were deemed racist. I just think they're teaching points. I don't think that, I don't think anybody means anything by it, but I think we should have them as reference points. Flying saucers. Yeah, so we're going to be shopping tonight. I don't know what the heck I'm going to eat. Ever Night of the Hunter with Martha Saki. Yeah, I don't think I saw that one. I don't know. But I think Robert Mitchum I liked his acting. Well, most Disney movies, like all movies, would follow the format of having a star encounters difficulty, star overcomes difficulty, everybody's happy in the end, right? And in the best of them, the good guy wins in the end and the bad guy loses. Night of the Hunter, yeah. Yep. That sounds pretty cool, Night of the Hunter. But would we say... Yeah, I don't know, Chef. I'm just waiting for verification before I put anything out on my channels. I mentioned Cape Fear was fantastic. I hadn't seen anybody do a video of repute in the RV community, and these people jump on a storyline like there's no tomorrow. I'm not sure if it's right here in the void. Maggie, did you ever see Elmer Gantry? There's one that you should see about, based loosely on the life of Sister Amy Semple McPherson, the first real big-time lady radio preacher out of L.A. Claudette Colbert. I'm going to see a very hot Shirley Jones. Yeah, that was a tremendous movie. Sister Falco. Sister Amy, Sister Falconer. What makes a film great to me, Robbie, is number one, great story. It's got to be a great story. It's got to be perfectly cast. It's got to be properly directed. Because a lot of stories get lost in the translation to 90 minutes of film. Timely message. Divine saw Back to the Future last night. That's right, Susie. Lust in the Dust. Kill a Mockingbird. It's a good story. Harper Lee. Taxi Driver, the Manchurian Candidate is interesting. Taxi Driver was kind of mind-blowing for the time in the 70s when I saw that. That was pretty wild. That was pretty wild. I thought De Niro was great. Yeah, which Ben-Hur? You know, there were multiple Ben-Hurs made. And I believe that Cecil B. DeMille or King Vidor might have done the first one. Might have done the first one. Only done the Faith Healing the Miracle with Barbara Stanwyck. All the Clint Eastwood movies. Yeah, The Grapes of Wrath was an excellent story. Excellent story. What about Brooke and Pretty Than 10? Yeah, they didn't have any predilection about that, about using underage people in it. Ben-Hur tied Titanic for most Oscar wins of any film. That was a great movie. And who won the most Oscars of all time in any category? I already gave you guys the answer to that. Yeah. Thank you, Kale. Yeah, Edith Head, that's correct. She won more Oscars than anybody in the industry. Which movie in your memory brought up the most controversy? Probably Heaven's Gate, because they tried to make a big budget mega hit and ended up just being a absolute disaster. Yeah, I wasn't around. Yeah. So I think that was the most controversial thing recently, because it just set the movie industry was like just being battered at that time with high costs, and it was so scary. Everyone loved him in HP, especially the Deathly Hallows. I like Daniel Day-Lewis. I think he's far and away my favorite actor right now because he's so damn good. He's so damn good. Twister from the 90s. Yeah, I'll have to go back and reread it, Zombie. Gangs of New York was interesting. Pretty violent movie. Yeah, my left foot was great. What's up, monkey boy? He said the Phantom Thread was his last. Yeah. He retired from acting. Yep. Ooh. We're waiting for verification on that. I'm not putting it out. If it turns out it's true, monkey boy, I'll be putting it on to the next, my next stream. But I don't put things out there unless it's 100% demonstrably proven to me. Daniel Day, it is. Yep. Anthony Hopkins is pretty old and he won another. Anthony Hopkins was very good. He was very elegant in some of those British, I can't remember the movie he was on with Emma Thompson, where he played the house butler or something. He played the house butler along with Emma Thompson. She was a maid. Well, look at it this way, Kale. When I have absolute definitive proof, then I'll say something. In the meantime, just put that aside for the scope of this. I actually heard of Crape's author, one of my... Yeah, he was another one of America's great novelist. Remains of the Day. I just think there will be blood. Excellent. Excellente. Yeah, he's an excellent actor. It's tremendous. Yeah, Steinbeck's good. East of Eden and Cannery Row. That's why I enjoy going down to Monterey Bay. And Salinas has a really nice big museum down there. Yeah. They all have a good story. There's Jen. So, all good stuff. Unionization and workers' rights. He was one of the early advocates of socialism, for sure. Just like some of the Hollywood directors, King Vidor and other ones. It's a lot of the reason they got in some trouble later in the 40s, 50s. That was lead man. That was George Papard. When you just want to laugh, what's your film to go to? For me, if I want to laugh to a dangerous point where I could be hospitalized, it would be any of the Jackass. I laugh my ass off at that stuff. These idiots doing the things they do. That's my laughing movie. I'm going to try to pick up some Perrier tonight. Lift these cases into the house. Blackbird's going to have to help me. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Da 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 da. Eli Kazan named when he was given an honor. Yeah, refused to clap. Yeah. And enjoy those Jackals classics. That's it. Uncle Buck's a good one. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles definitely make me laugh. I like Arsenic and Old Lace with Clark Gate with Cary Grant. You love when I sing Gone with the Wind? Doo 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 doo. Well, you have to imagine, Magda, a lot of that Jewish culture came in from the ownership of the theaters, the Nickelodeon days and all that. And that liberalism was sometimes taken a bit far. And movies began to convey messages that some exterior, particularly the Catholic Church's Board of Censor Review and things like that, were just increasingly alarmed at what the subject matter coming out was. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, so good for a laugh. Yeah, it's great for a laugh. It's an excellent movie. If you just want to just bullshit and just laugh and kick back, it's a great movie. Louis Malle. Au revoir, les enfants. Louis Malle. Put another way, a lot of those directors and members of the studio ownership were very much intrigued, if nothing else, by communism. Three Stooges. I liked Laurel and Hardy. Oh, they went around, was trying to make a name. Well, you have to remember, Magda, we were going through all the Ethel and Julius Rosenberg and the atomic bomb secrets, that whole fiasco. Do 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 da ba da bo 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 ba do bo bo do 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 do. But that's for good comedy. If I want something classic, or I'll go into the 1930s playlist and pick something out. They're on. Ooh. But I think if people could make classics on demand, they would. But sometimes, like a lot of things, like art and other things, it's not recognized as genius until some years later. Right? I mean, when Mozart passed away, there was a big push to cover up his stuff. It took a while for that to come out. It took a while for all that to come out. Major, why did they try and make it? I don't know. LD, it's just they just can't resist mucking with things. Right? They just can't resist mucking. Ooh, 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 ooh. Seriously. Nothing exceeds like excess, right? Ooh, let's see. Do do do, then the do bird. Gone away is the new birds. Do 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 do. Let's see. Do 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 do. Bum 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 bum. Do 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 do. All right, there we go. Thumbs up are appreciated. Commies only became our enemy until then. Russia pretty much won the war. Not necessarily true. The commies were very much our enemies in 1918 after the communist revolution in Russia. They very much were not our ally. We sent an expeditionary force, of which my grandfather was one, on a battleship as a radio man, to support the White Russians in an attempt to overthrow the Russian Revolution. And then we had the Palmer Act here for subversion. People like Emma Goldberg and other people started getting kicked out of this nation. Start getting kicked out. History. Good morning, Nicole. Make a pot of chili. Yeah, I don't know. I might have to. I don't know. I just don't know what I'm gonna have. I might have a thing of chili. I might have that. Do 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 do. Let's see if we live. Go about 10 more minutes or so. I'm gonna get a cup of coffee. Ooh, ooh. At least it's not raining at the moment. I don't know what to cook tonight. I don't know what to cook tonight. Ooh. All right. Here, let's follow. That's nice, Susie. But anyway, getting back to the movie thing, in my opinion, the thing that makes a great classic movie is having an excellent, an unbeatable story, because every one of the classic movies that I think of, Gone with the Wind and Citizen Kane, they all have that same theme of somebody undertaking a heroic struggle. And at the end, the good the good gets rewarded and the bad gets punished. And I think that that's always a format for that. Can we do tacos? Taco Tuesday? Don't think so. Tacos aren't on my keto menu. Not on my keto menu. Whenever I want to see a good classic movie, I always pull up movies. And don't think that if it's a silent movie, that there's nothing to watch in the way of silent movies, because some silent movies, like The Passion of Joan of Arc, I think 1928 or 1929 German-made film. Some of the stuff that the director Pabst did in Germany is tremendous. With Louise Brooks, Diary of a Lost Girl. It's one of them. I can't remember what the other one is. Do I like horror and thriller movies? Not that much. I like stories that are based on real events. I like those kind of stories that are come out of real life. Come out of real life. Those are, I think, make the best. Oh, you were Louise Brooks. She's actually my favorite actor from the silent era because she's so beautiful. Her features, and she was one of the first ones that really sported the hair bob. If I could make a movie, what would it be about? Oh, that's a good question, Nicole. That would be a good question. Love my Netflix lately. Give me a movie to look up. The Lady Killers with Tom Hanks. If I could make a movie, I think I would try. I think I would enjoy trying my hand at a hood movie. I think that could be pretty cool to make a movie about a hood life or something. Obviously, it has the built-in struggle in it, the weird people. Yeah, I think my favorite period, Magda, would be to live from come of age in the 1880s and 90s. The Last Kingdom from Vanilla Rain. I want to make film about Kitty family. And Philly, go ahead, Susie. Go ahead. Roll that beautiful bean footage of a family from the cat point of view. That's it. I like that. Strap that GoPro on that cat. But I tell you today, guys, I'm grateful for the pain management and for the gummies helping with the I really think that they're helping. Backyard would be a great start for a movie, huh? Great start. Some old shorts called the Dogville shorts about dogs from the 30s. Yeah, it's a little bit better, Kale. Thank you, sweetie. It's a little bit better. Every day we just claw back a little more, a little more, a little more. And if we can get to 100 thumbs this morning, that would be excellent. If you're just coming in, we're just having a little bit of movie talk this morning. And I think I'm going to take it up till about 1 o'clock my time and come live about 3 this afternoon. Take a 2-hour break. Yeah, make sure to share it out. Tonight we have to go shopping. That's always fun. It's going to be a little bit of a struggle. Your chooching should be made into a movie. There we go, Jen. Insane, huh? Insane. Oh boy, let me see something. Ooh. Do 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 do. Come on, dude. My board is acting up here. Come on. Sorry, it's like I got some friggin' moisture on here. I don't know if Shimei's watching. I accidentally blocked her when the storm came in earlier, so apologies for that. How you doing, Dana? Yeah, Jen, that's why I'm not talking about it at all. Till it won't get a mention on my channel till it's 100% proven and verified. Oh, you were telling your cousin how gummies helped you and me? They're gonna try them for pains. Just to have the spasms gone is a wonderful thing. Just to have that's a wonderful thing. So it's helped a lot. Helped a lot. Wait. Thank you, John. What makes a film great is a bad guy you would like to kill personally, or at least one that you would love to have. Yeah, I know, Magda. It's incredibly transparent. I just have to laugh. I just have to laugh. Thank you, John.
John Brentford tipped $5 through Super Chat. What makes a film great is a bad guy you would like to kill personally.
Oh my. Oh my. I don't know, but I'd like him to suffer some consequences, he or she, to suffer a little bit of payback. I mean, horror movies aren't nearly as satisfying if everybody's dead on the ground and there's no resolution. That's what's brilliant about Halloween and the Michael Myers is at the end it just looks down and you thought the guy went out of a third floor window or something, and you look down and he's gone. Right, so it sets the perfect thing for the next time. Yeah, I mean it's almost laughable, Magda. That's why I don't take the bait. Right? I don't roll that way. I've been around too long. Been around too long. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Yeah, go to school. Or go to school. A little bit of schooling. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. I don't know if there's a movie. I'm trying to think if there was a movie made where just the production values, maybe the movie Avatar, where the production values were so over the top that it just swamped everything else and made it a great movie. Right? I mean, that's an interesting question. If there was ever like a winning movie that you just think to yourself, how in the hell did that win? Right? No lunch today for me. No lunch for me. That's right. I don't usually eat lunch. I usually save myself for dinner, and I don't know what we're having tonight, guys. We have to do a little shopping. I got to load up on some Yeah, she's adorable. She got caught up in the crossfire today, so she's been unblocked. Yeah, Avatar was a great one. I did enjoy it. I got that on. That's one of the few I have on DVD. The boss left here. Avatar, because Hurt Locker beat Avatar. James Cameron beat him for Best Director. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Yeah, there's a satisfaction that comes from the completing and running the circle. And it's one of the most satisfying themes in human nature, is we like to think, at least until recent years, maybe the last 2 decades or so, that evil should be punished and good should be rewarded. What about Bob with Bill Murray? Criminal intent actresses played. I enjoyed Groundhog Day. I thought it was a well-constructed comedy. Yeah, that's it. Avatar, 237 million budget and revenue of almost 3 billion. We pick them off violet here. The more the sensational the announcement is, the less we bite on the bait. Trying to think if there was a movie that people thought was great that I just like. I saw The Winded Lion. Yeah, there's quite a few films filmed here, Nicole. Scream filmed here. Shadow of a Doubt filmed here. Pollyanna filmed here. All My Sons filmed here. And Shadow of a Doubt filmed here. Cheaper by the Dozen with Steve Martin. The list just goes on and on. No good understand. No matter. Well, I think that's true, Zombie. I think that's true. I just don't think it has enough to carry it for the future. I think the story has got to be the thing with. It's just you leave the theater and you just say, "Wow, how could one person have gone through that?" Or what the serious hell. And it can scale up to whole armies, like things like Midway, the movie, and large productions. No, the house of like the police chief or something. What I think is a film that may last. If it goes well, R is very good. And Tio, but many are called and few are chosen. I'm subscribed to a lot of the people that produce independent feature films, and it's tough, right? They end up doing commercial work and weddings and all that. Splendor in the Grass. Yeah, there's the film incident. Birds was filmed out here. Alfred Hitchcock loves filming in California. Dude, what should I have tonight? I don't even know if I really feel like chili tonight. It's always a nice thing. Don't know. I guess we have to go. I don't want chicken again. We've had chicken, which was delicious last night. The chicken was great. I hope Bird liked it. So I really don't know what to have. I guess we'll have to just wait and see till we go shopping. I guess a good storyline, good acting. I think a storyline is critical, Jerry. Because I can prove it to you this way. Sometimes actors get into projects that are really shitty stories. Okay, and they don't work out. So the actor can't save the movie. And that's usually what ends up sinking some, especially actresses. Tonight is In and Out. Yeah, I think we'll get some more asparagus. Hot dogs. I might do that tonight, Magda. Some of my most memorable, my favorite lists had no special effects at all. I think a lot of mine did not need special effects. the story carried it. So do I, Jen Jen. Poor Jen Jen can't even be here when I eat. It so sickens her. It so sickens her. I think if you do remakes every couple of generations, I think it's okay. But I think you're taking a big risk when you do that. Actually, kielbasa is good. Kielbasa is good. I like a good kosher hot dog. Then I don't have to worry about what the hell's in it. Yeah, Helen Hunt's performance in A Good Woman makes the movie unwatchable. It's like I can't get into Helen Hunt. Just not feeling it. They like that. I feel bad. I seriously just don't like people. I think it's funny. Yeah, bacon around sausage. Yeah, I've had enough. I've had enough bacon lately for a while. So I'm back on my keto again. My favorite film from South Korea, Thriller, Mother. I think that movie's pretty famous, Becky. I don't think it can ever be shown in theaters here. It's such a raw movie, isn't it? Never saw Good as Helen does not look like it, but Meg Ryan looks worse. Yep. Yep. Both had some botched surgeries. Yeah, it's like what Jennifer Grey did to herself. I never found anything objectionable about her nose. I think it gives people character. And she had that changed off and it just wasn't the same. Right? Always a treat. A Town Without Pity. No, I haven't seen that. I mean, the remakes themselves, are those done on movies you like? Have you seen them actually? Oh, for ones that were done, obviously the Ten Commandments, the second version from 1950, whatever, is so much more done than the one that was done by DeMille in the 1920s. But that's just because of the advancement in understanding film speed and lighting and doing all that. That's one I would say so far matched and exceeded. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I think there have been a lot of versions of A Christmas Carol, Charles Dickens. And I think I like the ones with Charles Lawton in that. Yul Brynner, yeah. I was in a hunting accident in London. Yeah, well, Tom, this is probably not the chat for you then. Okay, so we know what you are, so... hey, Cindy, how you doing? Good to see ya. Nanette Fabre ruined her looks. Oh, thank you, Moose Knuckles, thank you. Thank you. Hate those Bible flicks, Ben too, so don't crucify. A lot of people enjoyed. A lot of people enjoyed them. Right? I mean, we can't say that we're unpopular. You know, the Ten Commandments. Yeah. Renee Zellweger went a tad too far with the surgery. I think it's kind of tempting to overdo it. You know, fillers are one thing, but when you start pulling features around and all that, right, it becomes a little problematic. Rupert, I'm feeling a little bit better today. Little bit. Yeah, Mutiny on the Bounty was excellent. The Ten Commandments was a Bible story. But I had the hots of the Pharaohs. I guess I'm sinful. Ooh. My recent burn light liked. Yeah. Well, you know, zombie, they'll keep taking a bite of the apple as long as there's something on the core. Hollywood can't resist the touchstone of prior success because they figure people's movie taste never change, only the eras change. Johnny Depp. So, I don't know. Simon the Magic Kane. No. The Robe, this, that, I don't know, Overkill. Well, everything had its era. Look at the 60s on TV. You had the Hillbilly movie, the Hillbilly series, right? The Beverly Hillbillies, Petticoat Junction, Green Acres. Everything comes in time. Yeah, Hollywood thinks familiar equals success, and taking a risk on something is really, really risky. So they need actors for that, to carry that risk. And that costs money. Money, money, money. Money, 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 money. So Hollywood would love to be assured that everything they produce is going to be like the Spider-Man. It's going to be a hit out the door. Genius, the character, these voyeurism. Yes, he did. And he wasn't afraid of long shots either. Look at that shot that another long shot genius was Orson Welles. That scene in Touch of Darkness. That opening scene where he's tracking the car with the bomb in it. Dune was actually risky. Hollywood's pretty trash now, in my opinion. That's why I think they're moving to electronic CGI generated actors that people are going to start to follow. Oh, thank you, Rupert. People are going to start following that. It's going to be interesting to see people brand extensions of CGI characters. Touch of Evil. Hey, Mr. Z, how are you? I'm doing a little better. Has your light going off? Has your light going off on that? I think my Bluetooth needs to get a charge. So hold on a minute. Let me put this on. Now we got to get this. All right already. Oy vey. Oy vey. There we go. Oh, here we go. They're being developed right now, Nicole, and I think that they're already being inserted into. They're already being inserted into movies. Okay, good. Think the extra humidity had to evaporate. That's great. I knew that would happen. First long play I bought for a gift, an idiot kind of Puerto Rico. Sonia Sotomayor proud. CGI social media influencers. The way of the future, we see it take a moment. That's what I'm saying. Why should actors be spared? You start inserting CGI actors into show and see if they get detected. Keep improving it. And pretty soon you're going to watch a movie and they're going to come out and blow your mind a couple days later and tell you everybody you saw in that film was a computer generated imagery. Thank you, Bird Dude. That's it. No, I don't feel anything. I feel good today. Thank you, my friend. Ooh, feeling wonderful today. Thought I only tried to delete my first movie on theater. John Travolta, Saturday Night Fever. Holy Grail movies making is perfecting to the point that no one can. That's what I said. If you reach that point, then you've reached heaven, where there is no, your cost of characters starts to decline dramatically. And if you can sell people on a series or something, then you know that they're working on inserting that stuff right now. They're working on that stuff right now. Under 60 years of experience, yeah. So let's see. Okay, well, it's got about 2 minutes. I'm going to bounce to. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Z. I'm going to get going too, guys. We've been on about 2 hours or so. So I want to thank you for being here today. And wish you the good rest of your day. I'll see you in a couple hours. We'll be live. So to my wonderful moderators, thank you. And take care, everybody.